Please be seated. Thank you, Josie. Thank you, Kiana, Brian, and Ed. I now call upon Justice John M. Manglonia for the welcoming remarks.
Buenos dias and good morning, everyone. Governor Ralph Torres, Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios, Senator Vinny Sablan, Speaker Edmund Villagomez, Vice Speaker Atal, Congresswoman Babauta, Congressman Donald Manglonia, and Congressman Angel de Mapan. I think there may be a few others out there, but we will acknowledge you later. Dr. Alfred B. Adda, Commissioner. Youth Congress senators, students from Dr. Rita H. Enos Junior High School and Grace Christian Academy. And from the Judiciary, we have Chief Justice Alexandro Castro, Justice Perry Enos, Presiding Judge Roberto Naraha, Judge Kenneth Govendo, and I believe we have Judge Teresa Kim Tenorio viewing us from the mainland. Good morning also to our Judiciary Division managers and staff, the CNMI Bar Association President Charity Hudson, to all our guests, Jesus Maasi for joining us this morning, and a warm welcome from the third branch of government. A year ago, we had our proclamation ceremony just outside this building on the front steps because this atrium was filled with construction materials and our HVAC air conditioning system was still ongoing. Now, as you can see, we're back to our normal business operations. It's nice to have the judiciary staff under one roof, and thank you very much to the executive branch and the legislative branch for assisting us with our construction projects. In a few days, we will begin Law Month and Drug Court Month. In May of each year, our courts across the nation take time to celebrate the rule of law. Our celebration begins with the signing of the proclamation today, and we invite all sectors of our community to join in Law Month, where we strive to deepen our understanding of how the law protects our liberty, advances justice, and contributes to the freedom that all Americans share. And this year's theme is Toward a Perfect Union, the Constitution in Times of Change. As the American Bar Association explains, the United States Constitution is a blueprint for government that delegates power, articulates rights, and offers mechanisms for change. But the work of the Constitution does not cease where its mere 4,500 words end. Since the late 1700s, we the people have built on its framework through legislation, regulations, and court rulings, all in an effort to fulfill the enduring promises of the Constitution. And like the U.S. Constitution, the Commonwealth Constitution has its own unique history. Ratified in the late 1970s, it establishes political union with the United States, protects personal rights, and lays the foundation for other aspects of life in the Commonwealth, including natural resources and education. The 2022 theme reminds us that defining, interpreting, and understanding the promises of the Constitution are among our oldest and most sacred national traditions. To form a more perfect union is both the founding and ongoing constitutional task, and it is a task shared by all of us, we the people, as we remember the traditions that make our islands a decent place, filled with mutual understanding and respect. In celebration of Law Month and Drug Court Month. This year, we will feature a number of events, including the annual Law Month essay and poster contest based on the theme, and we have the students here today. We will also have radio and television broadcasts about emotional quotient and emotional intelligence, a pilot project which the judiciary and the public school system have come hand in hand to spread the word about emotional intelligence and quotient. We will also have a forum on professionalism with the CNMI Bar Association. And as part of our outreach programs, the Supreme Court will be visiting Rhoda in May to hold its second quarter appellate session. In previous years, we set aside a different day for Drug Court Month proclamation. But this year, as the theme goes, we choose to form a perfect union of the two celebrations. So after the Law Month proclamation this morning, Drug Court Manager Edward Diaz and his team will lead the second half of today's event to talk about our successful Drug Court program. And Drug Court 2 will sponsor a number of events in May, including the Walk to Recovery and a few sporting events for our youth. I cannot express how much it means to have all of us gathered here today in person as we celebrate the Constitution and the rule of law. Despite the challenges of the last 2 years, we are reminded of the enduring nature of our community, our laws, and our people. And we are confident that these will empower all of us as we move forward in 2022 and the next year. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. And you will hear now from our young folks to tell us what the rule of law is all about also as they read the proclamation of Law Month. May I call Youth Congress Senators Iacopo and Sassamoto to read the proclamation? Thank you so much.
A proclamation, Law Month 2022, toward a more perfect union, the Constitution in times of change. Whereas the American justice system upholds and protects freedom, justice, and the rights of all Americans. Whereas in 1958, President Dwight D. Eisenhower first established Law Day as a day of national dedication to the principles of government under law. Whereas in 1961, the U.S. Congress issued a joint resolution declaring May 1st as Law Day, which is a national day to recognize and celebrate our justice system and the Constitution. Whereas on March 24, 1976, the covenant to establish a Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands in political union with the United States of America, a covenant, was signed into law by President Gerald R. Ford as 48 U.S. Code, subsection 1801. Whereas the people of the Northern Mariana Islands ordained and established the NMI Constitution as the embodiment of tradition and hope for the Commonwealth. Whereas the covenant and the NMI Constitution create as separate and co-equal the legislative, executive, and judicial branches of government. Whereas the separation of powers among the branches of the government is essential to preserving the Commonwealth. Whereas an independent judiciary is essential to the administration of laws and a free society. Whereas the NMI Constitution is neither perfect nor exhaustive, and it is the collective duty of the government and citizenry to work toward a more perfect union. Whereas times of change challenge the government to be resilient and supple when facing controversy and opposition. Whereas the Constitution provides the mechanisms for change, and as a result thereof, 62 amendments were ratified by NMI voters. Whereas promoting public understanding of the roots of our freedom and democracy is an important component in the civic education of the citizens of the United States and Commonwealth. Whereas amendments, legislation, court rulings, and the people have built on the NMI Constitution, steering the Commonwealth toward a more perfect union. Whereas the NMI Constitution rests upon the idea that every person has individual rights, and conversely, no individual person is greater than the Commonwealth. Whereas the American Bar Association theme for Law Month 2022, Toward a More Perfect Union, the Constitution in Times of Change, underscores the dynamic nature of the U.S. Constitution. Whereas Law Month will be celebrated by the Judiciary with second quarter appellate oral arguments, an attorney admission ceremony, a conference on Supreme Court rules for judiciary staff, and professional development workshops. And whereas Law Month will be further celebrated by elementary and junior high school students in essay and poster contests, and by members of the Bar Association in continuing legal education with a Justices and Judges Forum discussion on professionalism in the courtroom and a presentation on e-filing and service rules. Now therefore, we the undersigned hereby jointly proclaim May 2022 as Law Month. We urge everyone to observe this month by deepening their understanding of the Constitution, to strengthen our democracy, defend liberty, and pursue justice. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands this 20th day of April in the year 2022.
Thank you, Senator Sasamoto.
Thank you, Senators. Chief Justice Castro, may you please do the honor to be the first to sign the proclamation.
CJ, may you please proceed to sign the proclamation?
Okay.
That's good. Thank you, CJ. Will the Most Honorable Governor Ralph de Longuerero Torres please proceed to the table to affix your signature?
Thank you, Governor. The proclamation will now be signed by the Lieutenant Governor Colossus.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Senate Floor Leader Vinnie Sablon, thank you for the honor of representing and signing for Speaker for Senate President Jude Hofschneider.
Thank you, Senator Sablon. The proclamation will be now signed by the House Speaker, Edmund Villagomez.
And CNMI Bar President Charity Hudson, please proceed to sign. I now call upon the Honorable Perry B. Enos to recognize the winners of our middle school essay contest.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk. In the months leading up to Law Month, the Judiciary announces a essay competition throughout the schools in the Commonwealth and poster contest. It is now my honor to announce the winners of this year's contest. And the topic, as mentioned by Justice Manglonia earlier, the topic of the essay contest is Toward a More Perfect Union, the Constitution in Times of Change. So starting with the third place winner, which is also called the Supreme Court Award. This award goes to Ian Ladal from Rhoda, from Dr. Rita Enos Junior High School, and she's an 8th grader. Please come forward and accept your award. Center. Thank you, Ms. Ladal. The second place winner, or also the Associate Justice Award, goes to Lovely Jinko. Please come and accept your award. Ms. Jinko is an 8th grader from Dr. Rita H. Enos Junior High School. She flew in from Rhoda for this. Thank you, Ms. Jinko. Finally, the first place or Chief Justice Award goes to Aiden Chon Hakuk Kaubo from Dr. Rita H. Enos Junior High School in Rhoda. He is an 8th grader. The 3 students flew in from Rhoda to accept their award today. We also give a big thanks to the public school system for making their trip possible. And now I will call on the presiding judge, Robert C. Naraha, to present the poster awards.
Thank you, Justice Enos. I am proud to present the Elementary School Poster Award. And for the third place Superior Court Award, this goes to Minato Takahashi. Minato is from the 5th grade, Grace Christian Academy. For the second place Associate Judge Award This award goes to Brianna M. Lopez. Ms. Lopez is from the 5th grade Grace Christian Academy. And for the first place Presiding Judge Award, this award goes to Victoria N. May Wong. Ms. Wong is a 4th grader from Grace Christian Academy. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Enos and Presiding Judge Naraha. Congratulations again to our winners. We will now take a brief break before proceeding to the Drug Court Proclamation portion of our ceremony.
Sorry, for the winners? Oh. I'm not sure. I mean, there's just three from what I read. But those are all for the essays or for the posters? I'm not sure. Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, hello, welcome back. Now we are going to start the Drug Court Month Proclamation portion of this morning, and I promise I'll be brief. Good morning. It is nice to see everyone here today to support LAMA. This year, it is special for National Drug Court Month, which is in May, because we are having a tandem proclamation signing today. This year's theme for National Drug Court Month is Celebration of Recovery. Each year, the treatment court community comes together to celebrate Drug Court Month. This is our annual opportunity to share our success, educate the public, and engage elected officials. The past two Drug Court months are special because they have been planned and coordinated by Drug Court participants. Mr. Injun Cho, Mr. Gorjani Camacho, and they are assisted by Ms. Jashley Regis. And this is part of their graduation project. They have put in a lot of work populating May's calendar of events to promote recovery. I also want to recognize all the hard work of the Judiciary team to put this celebration together and possible. Right. In the almost 7 years of Cinema Drug Court, we have accepted over 100 participants who have been engaged in comprehensive, holistic approach which combines intensive judicial interaction, aggressive community supervision and monitoring, frequent random drug testing, routine case management, and meaningful substance and alcohol treatment and recovery services. To date, we have 71 participants who have successfully completed the program, which is an 86% graduation rate. Our drug court is one of over 4,000 in the nation. However, drug court is not a drug court without support of the community. The support from our leaders, our partners, our stakeholders, the diligence of our multidisciplinary drug court team, who show up each week for staffing and hearings. A passionate and dedicated drug court judge, Honorable Teresa Quintanorio, who's joined us virtually. And of course, our dedicated judiciary family. And last but not least, the ones who put in the hardest work, the participants we serve. And now this is a perfect segue to highlight a recent graduate to give a testimonial, Mr. Wilson Celeste.
Hello, good morning. My name is Wilson Celeste. I'm a recent graduate of the drug court program, and I am a person in recovery. First off, I would still like to thank the drug court team for accepting me into their program 2 years ago. Secondly, I would like to extend my appreciation to the MBHI staff, the CGC staff, and the SAR staff for educating me and arming me with the tools I can use to keep myself vigilant for whatever comes at me. Last but not least, to my brothers and sisters in the fellowship, thank you for all the unconditional love and support that we have for one another. For these three different groups, I like to call it as my trifecta for recovery. The drug court team keeps me disciplined and on track. The various treatment facilities arm me with the knowledge to always be vigilant, and the fellowship is where I need where I go for the much needed love and support from fellow members who I can relate with. Discipline, knowledge, love, and support. These three factors kept me clean and serene, but that doesn't mean my recovery ends there. I still continue to be vigilant for myself and for my family. For a little backstory, it started with curiously picking up cigarettes at 14 years old, smoking them with a few friends, and ending up buying cigarettes at 15. Hanging out deep inside the jungles of our village with a couple of friends to consume alcohol and marijuana, to skip school. The best part was never getting caught. The thrill of being bad, but not being caught by anybody, got me chasing that thrill at a dangerous rate. I then picked up the worst kind of thrill, and I was never the same. During those times, every night I would be all alone. I would talk to myself and say, when will I ever stop? When will it end? Why do I let myself go to such extremes? And then I remember, this one time I got kicked out of the house again because I took it way too far. It was about me taking money that I wasn't supposed to. It was for bills. And getting into a fight with my other half. But being who I was, I would take it either way, just to get my fix. And as a result, I wasn't able to return home because of the overwhelming guilt and shame I had for myself. So it's around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting in my car, parked in an abandoned spot, looking at the cabin light through the glass pipe, yelling and screaming to myself, why can't you stop? I cried in agony, but I knew for a fact that I would forget about it and move on and eventually do it over and over again. Insanity is what it was, and I never want to relive those moments ever again. So I made a promise to myself and my family to change 100%. And when I joined the program, it's been helping me through the times where I would wake up in cold sweat from a using dream, or from whenever my old friends try to hit me up to get me to relapse, or whenever my behavior or emotions get way out of control. I remember that promise, I made it clear, and I made it clear that it'll get me through the day to move forward every time. So thank you to the Drug Court team once again, and thank you for the biggest change of my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Wilson, for sharing that powerful message and for your strength and all that you do. Thanks. Now, I would like to call upon drug court participant Jashley Rages to read the proclamation.
A proclamation, CNMI Drug Court Month, May 2022. Whereas, treatment courts have been restoring lives and families for more than 3 decades. And whereas, there are now nearly 4,000 treatment courts nationwide. And whereas, treatment courts are the cornerstone of justice reform sweeping the nation. And whereas, treatment courts have served 1.5 million individuals. And whereas, they are now recognized as the most successful justice system intervention in our nation's history. And whereas, they save an average of $6,000 for every individual they serve. And whereas, treatment courts significantly improve substance use disorder treatment outcomes, substantially reduce addiction and related crime, and do so at less expense than any other criminal justice strategy. And whereas, treatment courts improve education, employment, housing and financial stability, promote family reunification, reduce foster care placements, and increase the rate of addicted mothers delivering babies who are fully drug-free. And whereas treatment courts facilitate community-wide partnerships, bringing together public safety and public health professionals. And whereas treatment courts demonstrate that when one person rises out of a substance abuse and crime, we all rise. And whereas the CNMI Drug Court was established by law in 2015. And whereas the CNMI Drug Court is currently serving 28 active participants. And whereas the CNMI Drug Court has 71 participants graduate from the program. And whereas the time has come to put a treatment court within reach of every eligible person in need.
Now therefore, I, Ralph de Longueur Torres, let it be resolved and Arnold I. Palacios, Lieutenant Governor, by the virtue of the authority vested in us by the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth, hereby proclaim May 2022 as CNMI Drug Court Month, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands on this 20th day of April 2022.
May we call on Justice Manglonia to sign the proclamation? Followed by Justice Enos. Followed by Presiding Judge Noah. Followed by Judge Gavenda. Thank you very much, everyone. At this point, I would like to call on Chief Justice to deliver the closing remarks.
Today, we bear witness to the living democracy embedded in our covenant and our Constitution. In spite of the downturn of the economy, the pandemic, and our differences, the three branches of government met this morning and signed the Lode Proclamation and also the Drug Court Proclamation. Let us continue to work together, hold each other by the hand for our people on Rhoda, Tinian, Saipan, and the islands north of Saipan. This is particularly true when it comes to drugs in our community. I don't know whether we are too late in addressing the drugs in the Northern Mariana Islands. But I guess it's better late than never. In our addressing the drugs on Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda, let us look at other countries as a starting point to address our drug problem. And I would take you all the way to Singapore. In Singapore, depending on the class and quantity of drugs trafficked, the penalty ranges from imprisonment and strokes of the cane to mandatory death penalty. If you are convicted of trafficking controlled substance in Singapore containing more than 250 grams of ice, you will face a mandatory death penalty. So let us start in the NMI, funding law enforcement and the justice system from drug-related activities proceeds and put it in an account to address drug problems, drug prosecution, and treatment of our drug participants. When we establish that account, I strongly recommend you put it in the branch of government that is sometimes forgotten. When I say forgotten branch of government, let us pause for a moment, for example, and look back when the casino was established. What happened to the proceeds? Nothing came to the court of law. But we ended up addressing the ramification of spousal abuse, drug-related activities, and it's beginning now to build up. And every time we turn, we see more and more drugs. I think we're catching up with our sister island of Guam. But I don't want to wait until one morning we get up and we say, what happened on Rhoda, Tinian, and Saipan? So as you establish that account, don't put it on the executive branch. Sorry, Governor, Lieutenant Governor. Don't put it in the legislative branch. Place it under the third and forgotten branch of government, the judiciary. And we will help our community on Rhoda, Tinian, and Saipan in the prosecution and treatment of our drug participants. Donc, Luna Sijusumasi, Gilisa, and good morning, good morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor, Chief Justice Castro. Our esteemed guests, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for joining us this morning. This concludes our proclamation signing ceremony. I also like to thank Ms. Naomi Babauta, who is interpreting our ceremony this morning in the American Sign Language. Light refreshment has been prepared for us. It will be in the assembly room. Please join us. Again, thank you very much. Have a nice day. And join us for the light refreshments.